Hey, everybody. Welcome to Locked On Astros. A little bit different look, but that's okay. Yordan Alvarez is the hero. Eric and I were there to witness it in person. This is the second game in a row he has put the team on his back, and the Astros have won. The Mariners showed fight, and they looked like they might try to even the series with Luis Castillo on the mound. But like I said during the game, Luis Castillo, no mas. That's right. Let's talk about it on this edition of Locked On Astros.
This is the ghetto version.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. Find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, when they're not blocking us out of Restream, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse, baby. What a day. Eric, this has been a crazy day. This has been like things haven't gone according to plan, I don't think, for a whole lot of people. But if you would have told me that we went into a game like this and things came out the way they would, I'd be like, you know what? I figured this was going to be a close game because Seattle showed fight. I'm so glad we're here. I'm so glad we got the technical issues worked out. Let's go, baby.
All right, this episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season, this postseason, with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. Who would have thought that the Astros would have won back-to-back games on Yordan Alvarez hitting home runs? This is what he's doing is historical, guys. And even Cal Rayleigh after the game was like, you know what, as a catcher, it's really sickens me to think that this one guy has beaten us twice in back-to-back games. Okay. And I'm like, okay, cry about it. But that's just what happened. This guy is so good at what he does. And not only this doesn't happen often, but he's done it twice. And it's just amazing to see what he's done. And this guy is just so good. And you know what is also so good? Guys, thank you for making us your first listen on YouTube, on Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, and this is a different look. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit, but
It's okay.
Guys, thank you for tuning into YouTube and making us reach 5,000 subscribers. And thank you to everybody that stopped me and Brett at the game today and said, hey, you're the YouTube dude. You're right. You're the guy from Talking Stros. You're the guy from Locked On Astros. And yes, I am that guy. So thank you all, everybody who said hi today. And wow, what a game. Yes, we will address what John Boy was saying after the game about Framber Valdez. We will talk about that. But wow, I guess we need to start with Framber Valdez looked a lot better today. He compared to Justin Verlander. Yes, he did struggle a little bit in the fourth inning, and then he loaded the bases in the fifth inning as well. But overall, he started off the game like he was supposed to. He limited the Mariners' offense, and that's what Justin Verlander could not do.
Yeah, and, I've got quotes from Valdez after the game. He says, I feel pleased with my outing, especially given the fact that I haven't pitched in about 10 days. I wouldn't necessarily say I felt comfortable throwing to the Mariners, but it was all about the focus. I was very focused today, and I felt confident in all my pitches, my sinker, my curveball, and my changeup, to throw all those pitches for strikes. I was able to get to the sixth inning and keep the game where it was and give the team a chance to win. Eric, when it started out, after the first inning, it looked like it was going to be zeros across the board for a while. And when Kyle Tucker got that home run, I think that's his second. The launch angle on that was 45.1 degrees or 45.3 is the second highest degree angle home run in his career. I really thought that ball was going to be caught by the Mariners right fielder because it kept going up. And I was up on the first base side in the upper deck. And like, to us, it felt like it squeaked over, but that right there was the thing that really started things. But here's the thing. Eric, it wasn't just the home runs today. It was Framber Valdez keeping this game close. It was, even though the Mariners ended up getting 2 runs and taking a lead at one point, it was Framber keeping it close. It was keep things like Jeremy Pena, like Yuli Gurriel making scoops. Jose Altuve, Eric, even though he doesn't have a hit, without his defense, the Mariners put up 4 or 5 runs in a couple different innings, possibly.
Yeah, even Julio Rodriguez was impressed that he got thrown out by Altuve with that play. So Altuve was making some great plays. The Astros overall were making some great plays. Alvarez made a great play out there after hitting a home run. So yeah, the defense and pitching is what helps the Astros win. But Tucker hitting that home run really, really helped the Astros kind of get off to a great start after Framber Valdez got off to a better start. He had 3 scoreless innings. He ran into some trouble in the 4th inning. And then John Boy kind of, during his podcast, he kind of suspected, you know what? I recorded the game. And after the game, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look to see what happened because in between innings, I noticed that Framber Valdez.
He doesn't sound like that, Eric. He's from New York. He's from New York.
But in between innings, I noticed that Framber Valdez changed gloves. Is there something fishy about that? And it could be the fact that he was tipping his pitches and then he stopped throwing the curveball. We all know how Framber Valdez likes to live on its curveball. So I think he answered his own question. The first glove he had the webbing that you can see through. The second glove, according to, I have not seen this because we just got home a little while ago. So the second glove was more a solid glove where the Mariners could not see his grip. Maybe he was tipping. Maybe it was the way he was delivering it. He thought the Mariners were tipping. And so John Boy is like, you know what? I'm going to watch this and I'm going to get to the bottom of this because that's what I do. I investigate the Astros.
So he changed his glove after the 5th inning and
after the 4th inning.
I'm sorry, out of the 4th inning. So that's why what is the reasoning behind it? What are they saying? Are they saying that's the reason that
maybe that's why he I don't know,
maybe that's why they didn't score any runs? I mean, really? Like that's a look.
Neris is the reason why they didn't score any runs because he came in and
exactly
with bases loaded and got the Astros out of trouble.
I know, and he is definitely part of this unsung hero thing I want to talk about here in a second. But you know what? Look, you and I have both interviewed John Boy. I know I've interviewed him multiple times, and off the record, off the camera. I mean, the dude's a decent guy talking to him one-on-one. But for him to go off on something like this and not catch the ire or the criticism of the Houston Astros fan base, like he deserves all the smoke for this. Now, I mean reasonable smoke, not like threatening people and all that stuff, but that's absolutely absurd. Like, can we get over it? The Astros are literally on the brink of their 6th straight ALCS, Eric. But I want to talk about this because this is something I thought about. The unsung heroes in this series, you would point to maybe Jeremy Pena, maybe David Hensley. But listen to this. The Astros bullpen has limited the Mariners to just 1 run in 8 1/3 innings in the first 2 games. This is a Mariners team that went into Toronto and put an 8 spot, took a 7-run deficit and swept Toronto, scored 4 runs in the game before, and we have all but shut them down. This is huge. This is a complete team. This is not 2021, folks. This is not 2019. This is not 2018. This team, I would say, is better than the 2017 team.
Yeah, and going back to John Boy for a second, I watched the video, and he was not. I don't think he was trying to make a big deal about it, but it was just funny that he was like, I want to investigate it. That's all I'm saying. And I know other people are making a little bit bigger deal of it, but the idea is the fact that Framber Valdez stopped throwing his curveball, and maybe he felt like the Mariners stopped swinging at the ball. And that's what John Boy was saying. And so there's something behind the fact that whatever happened. So I don't think that there's much to it, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about it.
Let's call it what it is, Eric. and Michael Connor touched on it on the 10th inning show. The Mariners not a great hitting team. The Mariners have gotten hot.
Right.
The Mariners have some hot hitters that have gotten hot. They are not a great hitting team. They are not a great offensive team, period. So let's just roll out the red carpet for Captain Obvious here. Captain Obvious just stepped in the room. The Mariners are not the Astros. The Mariners not at the Astros level. This is the major leagues. This is big boy time. This is not the minor leagues. This isn't for participant, okay? There are pretenders and there are contenders. They are pretenders. We are the contenders, period, end of story. And if there's any doubt in any Mariners mind, like seriously, like get over yourselves. Oh, it's going to be loud. Oh, we're going to take it at home. Whatever. No, you're not. You're not going to take a single thing from this team. Even if you squeak one victory in game 3, it's over, dude. This team, this Astros team is far and above the best team in the American League. Challenge us, and what will we do? We'll crush your dreams and your soul, period.
All right, so Mr. Corona says, I know you guys didn't see the TBS postgame show, but Cray was on there. He said that in the clubhouse when he was there, they preached that defense wins championship. It's something to keep a note of. And the Astros played great defense. They got the key hits when they needed it. They pitched good enough today. I know that one of the defensive error that Framber Valdez made today was that he threw away that ball to home plate. When maybe he should have gone to home plate, or maybe let Alex Bregman get that ball. But as a pitcher, it's hard to break that instinct of, let me get the ball. It's closer to me. But I don't know if he made the right decision.
That's a play.
Right.
That's a play that I would want my pitcher to make 9 out of 10 times. Framber Valdez, he turned, he released the ball too soon. He didn't turn, plant, and see and throw. He turned, and as he was throwing, so his body took that ball. It's kind of like when a quarterback rolls back and he has to step and like throw across his body. He throws an interception, right? That's basically what happened. That was not a bad play. If that throw is about a foot over to, I believe, the right,
take your time,
left, whatever side you're on, take your time a little bit more.
Right.
He probably would have nailed him. I don't mind that play. I like Framber doing that every time. Bregman couldn't have gotten there though. Bregman was out of range. Here's the deal. This Houston Astros team, I love that from Carlos Correa. They are all about defense, Eric, and that's why Yuli is in there. Yuli is in there, and his bat has shown up. But how good is this team, Eric? Jose Altuve has yet to get a hit, but yet this team is winning.
Right.
Jose Altuve has yet. Let that sink in, Astros fans. Jose Altuve is 0 for right now. This team is 2-0. Wow.
I wouldn't have thought that because he's basically been MVP all season. I know Alvarez, he's probably the best player on the Astros team, but Altuve has been the most consistent all season. And for him to do that, especially leading off the game, and I know he doesn't technically lead off every inning, but the leadoff hitter, you expect a little bit more output from him, but he is making the difference at the defense level. So yeah, I agree with you there, Brett. And yes, a lot of people I heard kind of not making fun. I don't know if that's the word, but saying, well, why is Jake Myers in the lineup? He went 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. But Chas McCormick could have played today, but Dusty Baker played a hunch. He felt that Myers would be better against Luis Castillo, who, by the way, he pitched a heck of a game, except for 2 pitches. 2 pitches really killed Luis Castillo. That was the one to Kyle Tucker that was crushed, and then the one to Yordan Alvarez that was the go-ahead home run. So yeah, Castillo he lived up to the hype. He really did live up to the hype. 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. But at the end of the day, the Astros, they pulled Framber Valdez a little bit early, but the Astros offense, it doesn't matter who you throw out there. When they're hitting and when Alvarez is hitting like he can and he's healthy, nobody can stop the Alvarez train.
Yordan Alvarez has seen 1 pitch in the strike zone. Saw 1 pitch in the strike zone today. His first couple of bats, they neutralized him. The ball he hit to opposite field, Eric, was off the plate. And they asked Scott Service what his game plan was, what the game plan was with Yordan. There was like, our game plan was not to give him anything over the plate. And he hit something that was off the plate. He said he's just dialed in. He's that good. Yordan Alvarez has one of the most amazing just presence on the field. The running catch he made in left field. I mean, everybody's like, oh, he's not that fast, but he ran down that ball. There was another ball against a wall that he nearly caught again. And I'm serious, in the offseason, we got to talk about this wall in left field. We got to talk about all this metal and all this crap. Like that is a hazardous place. And if Yordan is going to be here long term, can we please get a different wall? Can we move the scoreboard? Can we do something different in left field at Minute Maid Park? Because that's detrimental. Like I just see bad things happening because of that wall. I absolutely hate it. But Yordan Alvarez is the guy that you want to bet on. Let me tell you about BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your football betting info this season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth articles and analysis on every game you can find. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. The fastest and easiest way to check on all your favorite games and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to betonline.net or use your mobile device to learn more. I mean, look, if you're going to bet on Davis Mills to win a couple more games, you might not want him to, because if the Texans lose more than they win, they get that number one overall pick and go get another top flight quarterback. So if you're looking at things like that, just make sure you go to BetOnline. It's where the game starts.
All right. So looking at what Scott Service had to say after the game, I do know how hard it is to win on the road. It'll be very hard for them to win in Seattle. I'll tell you that. So,
oh, is this your new, like, you slide me out to say a quote and slide me back in? See, I know. I officially hate Restream now. It's like Eric's like, I'm going to speak. See you later. See, I have no controls, folks. Let's just full disclosure here. I can't control anything. I can't put your comments up. So, hey, bro, like, for real, like, come on, man. Okay, look, dude, the freaking juice box was packed today, bro. Like, freaking packed, like a World Series game packed. I was so proud of the Astros fans. I was so proud of just seeing the families and seeing the kids out of school. I love that. My son was there with me today, Wheelhouse Jr., and we loved it, man. It was so fun. We were going to show y'all clips that I had filmed of Bregman, of Yordan, of Presley and all this stuff, but, Restream, whatever. So this Saturday, make sure that you come to Hooters NASA 1:30 live broadcast. And if we don't have Restream working, we're going to go StreamYard, baby. We've got a backup for the backup plan. But seriously, 1:30, 20796 Gulf Freeway, just south of Baybrook Mall. Come check us out, 1:30. Listen to the pregame, and then guess what? We'll be there watching the game with y'all. So y'all come check us out. It's going to be fun.
Alrighty, so Alvarez had 7 RBIs. That's tied for second most of any player in MLB history through their first 2 games in the postseason, and is the 4th player in Astros history to homer in the first 2 games of a postseason. Alvarez is also the first player in an MLB postseason history with multiple go-ahead home runs in the 6th inning or later with their team trailing. So what Alvarez is doing is impressive. And Bregman said, facing one of the best pitchers in the world, he was able to square up a tough pitch. I can't say enough about him. So clutch. And so thoughts by Baker. I can't do our little thing right now, but thoughts by Baker. This is what he had to say on
Thoughts by Dusty.
Yes. So this is what Baker said. Well, I thought about Barry Bonds. I mean, that was some Barry Bonds type stuff there. I mean, that's the ultimate respect. And that's on Alvarez getting walked. And I think we're going to see the Mariners start walking Alvarez a lot more often. The problem is Bregman's there. The Bregman got that hit that scored the 4th run. So you can't overlook Bregman.
Right.
And then if Yuli Gurriel starts hitting, and I know Ledmus Diaz didn't do much in today's game, but this lineup is dangerous. And yes, it's very top heavy. I mean, Ledmus Diaz did get hit. I'd take that back. He did get a double. I take that back. I remember that now. But this lineup is very top heavy. Then you have the bottom of the lineup, whoever's at center field, catcher spot. That's a little bit tricky. But if we can get some production out of the first 7 positions, some production from all of them, including Altuve, I'm not worried about this team. I think this team will go very far.
Okay, a couple things. I want to address Desmond McCade. If you could put his comment up. He is a Mariners fan, and then I'll address Dorothy and Guy here in a second. Do you see the Desmond McCade comment? If you could put it up.
Yeah.
It says, Mariners fan. He says, the better team won, I think, again, as usual. I don't agree with what Scott Service said about the Astros on the road, but I hope he's right. I'll be there, so I'm very excited. So, yeah, look, I know the Mariners are down 2-0. Do the Astros expect the Mariners to lay over and just give them a third game? Absolutely not. And so I think that is a key thing to realize. And remember, they were like, this is our World Series. Let's show them what like real baseball fans do when we swept them. I think this team is more on the ends of, sweeping them. Also, Guy and Dorothy were both asking, why didn't we get notified? We think you probably didn't get notified because we had to use, notice we're using StreamYard. We usually use a thing called Restream. Mm-hmm. Restream had crashed, so we're using StreamYard. So if you're watching and you didn't get the notification, or you're watching this the next day, we apologize. We tried to fix it as quick as we could. We wanted to get on earlier at 8:30, but you can know that we grind for you and we do everything we can to make sure you get the content that you demand, and that's great Astros content. And hey,
we hustled to get this going.
Hey, I'm just gonna tell you, man, I was bummed I didn't get this hat before, but dude, freaking New Era, they hit a home run with this hat, bro. Like, this is freaking fire. I love this hat, man. I'll tell you a story off the air tonight, Eric. I can't say it on air. Someone offered to buy my hat, my white Astros hat, and what he offered me in return for it was, I was like, I'm good, bro. But I'll tell you off the air because it's not family friendly. It was weird. It was weird, but yeah.
And somebody made a comment about Yuli. If when I said if they start to hit, I know he hit in game 1, and I said if the lineup continues to hit, that's what I was meaning. And this team can go really far, but the center field position continues to be weakness. And Martin Maldonado, I know he's there for his defense, but that's going to be an issue. But the bullpen, Ryan Stanek, where are you, Ryan Stanek? I know that's something that we were talking about on the way home, and you're like, well, what's going on? Is he sick? Is something going on with him? But Dusty Baker kind of talked about it after the game, and he said, oh, yeah, he was okay. It just wasn't the right time of the game. So, yeah, he's fine. He'll get in the game.
Well, here's the thing. Think about this, Eric. Think about this. Game 3, Ryan Stanek comes in. They haven't seen him this series.
Right.
He's throwing fireballs. He's throwing smoke. Baseball Jesus is going to basically take us to the promised land. Ryan Stanek's going to have a key moment, I believe, in game 3. He's going to come in and shut things down. So the Astros, I think, going to Seattle, I think they take care of business. Dude, Lance McCullers is going to be on the mound. It's going to be an absolute amazing time. You're going to have at your disposal, Luis Garcia, Jose Urquidy, Brown. You're going to have Hector Neris again, who's fired up. Like, this is his first postseason. You want to know who's motivated to pitch next game in the bullpen? Freaking Hector Neris, dude. Like, and Rafael Montero, who doesn't want to go back to Seattle and say, you know what, I pitched all 3 games of the gosh darn ALDS when we swept the Mariners. So I didn't think, before this series, I was like, Seattle's probably going to win 1 game. Dude, I don't know. Like things can change. We saw in the ALDS last year, the White Sox had that 1 game where, like, you would have thought that they won like the world championship of the century when they won. Like, they had the lights. I mean, it was quite an impressive show. But then the next day, boom, we shut it down. So I hope it's not delayed to a game 4. I absolutely want to see a game 3 sweep, get done with it. And isn't every ALDS we've been in, the Astros have gone up 2-0, right?
Yeah. So
So
this
it's
is
just
a
kind of what
6
we
straight
do.
year. Yeah, 6 straight
Yeah.
years. So it's just like clockwork. You wake up in the morning, you go to work, you go up 2-0 in the ALDS, and that's just what the Astros tend to do. And yes, it was a little bit scary, especially in today's game with Luis Castillo dealing like he did. And Alvarez crushed a 98-mile-per-hour fastball. Just imagine that. And he made it look so easy. And like, I think even Rob Manfred was talking about him before the game, saying that this kid is going to be really good. And he said Yordan is a force in the game. Unbelievable what a great player he's become in a really short amount of time. So when the commissioner is in town and talking about your outfielder, your left fielder, your DH, whatever you want to call him, that's really pretty cool. But Alvarez is like, I was watching that John Boy podcast for a little bit, and they're amazed by what he's doing. So people are starting to take notice of Alvarez, and the Astros did a very wise thing by locking him up when they did.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he's going to be here for a long time. David Hensley, key at bats he's had. He keeps seeing pitches. He's seen a lot of pitches. He got on base, and that's the thing. This kid isn't expected to win games. He's just expected to go and be a professional hitter. And sometimes being a professional hitter is just getting on base. You remember the whole thing with Moneyball, Eric, and Brad Pitt plays, Billy Bean. And Brad Pitt says, we don't care if he hits, 185, as long as he does what? Gets on base, right? That's the whole thing, because when runners get on base, and that's why I was nervous when the Mariners would get a guy on first and second when they loaded the bases. I was just like, crap. Like, when you got a guy on base, your probability goes through the roof.
Right.
And I don't know if we talked about this, maybe we did, but because I know I saw it afterwards. Did you see that game one, the probability was like 99% for the Mariners to win, and it dropped to 1? I don't know if we talked about that, but someone showed me that graphic like after the fact. I thought that was hilarious. And the Mariners had a probability to win this game. And then even when the Astros were up 3-2, without Alex Bregman getting up and getting that ball and scoring that run on that single, that makes it less comfortable. That changes everything. 3-2 going into the 8th, going into the 9th is a lot more scary against the Mariners than 4-2. So just, I think from beginning to end, Eric, the Astros did absolutely what they needed to do. And that's what great teams win close games. Yeah.
And Mr. Corona says, any idea who the game 3 starter is? Yes, it's going to be George Kirby. It's not going to be Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray is probably going to be used to pitch to Alvarez again with the game on the line in game 3. You know what? I think it's the perfect time to bring in Robbie Ray again. Who's up? Oh, yeah, it's Alvarez.
Oh, I love the video montage because I saw it yesterday. They played it in the stadium today where they replayed the game highlights, and it's Robert Ford. And they're like, and Robbie Ray's coming out of the bullpen. And someone has a perfect camera angle where he comes from behind, like the little Crawford box cut in. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like, he's coming out. He's got his hair. He's like all pumped. But I'm serious. Like, when he went in, Eric, being there, it was like, you knew, like, oh my God, like he's going to wreck shop here. I still can't believe that you take a guy out that has 6 strikeouts and 7 at-bats against a pitcher and you freaking pull him.
That's playoff baseball. I mean, that's
bad. That's Kevin Cash.
No, that was
Blake Snell.
That's Kevin Cash. Scott Service.
Oh, I know. I do
job.
Too. He looks like a thumb. I love Scott Service.
2 thumbs up, Scott Service. Great job. So Lance McCullers will be starting for the Astros, and we know how good he does. I know he's better typically at home, but he'll be facing the Mariners on the road, but he typically dominates the Mariners either way. So I think that he'll be definitely throwing the breaking pitch and the curveball. I don't think he'll be going away from that. So we'll have to look more into that, but I think that Scott Service did the right thing today by intentionally walking Alvarez with the 1 out, on and 2 outs in the 8th inning.
Because you saw what happened.
Well, still,
Alex Bregman scored the run.
Still, I mean, that's better than hitting a 2-run homer.
Hey, He pissed Bregman off. Okay, look, Bregman loves negative motivation. He loves when people don't respect him.
He's
I'm
getting the
sorry.
Albert Pujols treatment. Remember in the playoffs when
You
we used to
throw,
walk him, and then Barry
dude.
Bonds? Come on.
You throw to him. You make it look like you're throwing to him, but then he's going to hit the ball outside. Hey, someone said, talk about Presley getting kind of lucky, and with a couple walks, dude. That line drive and that double play was huge.
That was beautiful.
But his first,
the runner just like,
yeah. But yeah, it was Frazier, right?
yeah.
My son looked at me and he goes, Dad, he's thrown 6 straight balls. It was like after, I was like, oh my gosh, he has. He goes, what's wrong with him? I said, I don't know. I said, it's like when he's on, he's on. But it worked out, and that's going to happen. Again, you can't keep walking. Like, you've got to cut the walks down. That's what I think they need to do. They got to cut the walks down, because whether it's the Guardians or the Yankees, you can't put those guys on base. They've got too many serviceable hitters. Those are offenses I'm more worried about doing damage when we do stuff like that. And I don't know. Look, pressure is pressure, right? And this is something I thought about, Eric. Was Justin Verlander feeling pressure in that start? Because it was his first, think about it, his first playoff start in like 3 years, right? He's the ace. Everybody's counting on him. Could he have succumbed a little bit to the pressure psychologically, and what caused his pitches not to have as much movement on them? I mean, he's a veteran, but he's human, right? Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, he hasn't pitched like he's human all season. But my point is, Presley is shaky sometimes. Every pitcher's going to have their moments, right?
Right.
But with the team around you, you just get through it. You just walk through it.
Yeah. I think it has more to do with the fact that Verlander had almost 7 days between starts, and he was a little bit rusty. And I think the Mariners just had a game plan. They've seen him 6 times. And what did Verlander do right after even during the game? He was in the clubhouse looking at video and being like, okay, what did I do wrong? What can I do for the next start? Because you know that if they need him for game 4, he'll be out there. And Dusty Baker already, because somebody said, will you still go to Verlander for game 5? Because you got 2 extra relievers that you have not used in Urquidy and Garcia. And he said, I would use them tomorrow if I could. So Dusty Baker still has confidence in Verlander. So he'll be back. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully they don't even need it, because I love the fact that this team just doesn't quit. I mean,
yeah,
it felt better today. That was 2-1, and the Astros still had a chance to come back. It didn't feel like
it was hopeless in game 1.
Tuesday it was like, okay, are we really going to lose this game? We had Justin Verlander on the mound, and Luis Castillo is going to pitch the next game, and we're freaking losing this game. Are we really doing this?
So, hey, Samuel Barrett, one of our regulars, says, I know the plate umpire today, Jansen Viscotti. Is he the guy that I believe in the World Series last year was an umpire, and he started in League City? I think he used to do League City Little League. If this is the same guy we're talking about, if he's a local guy, behind the plate, I'll be real honest, he was consistent. Okay. I appreciate his consistency, but he didn't give the corners to Castillo or Valdez. I think if he had given the corners to Castillo or Valdez, this game might be a little different. The story might be a little different, because some of those corner calls are really, really close, right? But he called it for both. Like, he didn't give, like, people call it squeezing the, pitcher. He didn't really squeeze him, but he was good. It wasn't a CB Buckner. It wasn't Angel Hernandez, who just like guys that make terrible, terrible calls. Up there you go. Bot alert. Wow, man, they how did they get in here? But you're right. So right here, Screaming Palm. I'm assuming they are a Seattle fan. Says, where is he? Service is trying too hard. That's not what I was looking at. Kirby has elite control and decent movement and pretty good velocity. Right. Okay.
We're not discounting him. We know that he's a good young.
Kurt. No, hey, look, we didn't discount Luis Castillo. We didn't discount Logan Gilbert. Okay. Right. And we didn't even say after game 1 that the Astros were going to sweep the Mariners. That was the Locked On Mariners host that said that. They said that, not us. So go to their podcast and talk to them about saying that y'all were going to get swept. We've never said that. I've said 4 games that if they push it to a 5th game, there's no way Houston loses game 5. So let's be clear about that. I am not a dreamer in that I'm like, oh my gosh, the Astros are, the bee's knees and they're not going to lose a single game. No, these are professional baseball players. Cal Riley is tired of getting defeated. JP Crawford looked pissed out there. So the Mariners are going to come with a vengeance. They're going to bring the energy. So don't expect the Mariners just to give things away. Unless the Astros come out and absolutely stomp on their necks and just really throttle the Mariners, this is going to be another tough fought game. It's going to be a 1-run game in game 3.
Right. And another thoughts by Dusty. I wish we had the graphic. You don't go to the bathroom when Yordan is up to bat. So if you got to go poop, wait.
Well, come on, I got to bring graphic language into it. No, there was a guy that came back. So this guy left. Yordan Alvarez hit the home run. He came back. He's like, yeah, Yordan. I said, dude, when they get back up to bat, you better get back down in that bathroom. He goes, oh, that's right. And I said, you wrote your own fate, man. And of course, you're joking with them. But, dude, it was fun, man. High-fiving people. That's what I love about playoff games, dude. It's like nobody cares. Like, people don't look at you. Like, you don't just walk down the street and high. Well, maybe in Texas you do. Maybe not in New York or Seattle. But, I mean, we just high-five people all the time anyways. But it's so cool, dude. Just the orange towels waving. Someone today didn't know why we were wearing the alternate jerseys. A Yankees fan was like, why are y'all wearing your batting practice jerseys? I'm like, they're Framber's favorite jersey. So that's why we're wearing them. So just a lot of cool things today.
Yeah, and I'm excited about game 3. I know that my fear is that this Seattle's going to be pumped. And I know that I talked to some Seattle people while I was waiting for my girlfriend to come out of the restroom. And I was like, are y'all from Seattle? And they said, no, we're actually from Arizona. Wow. We couldn't get tickets to go to Seattle because tickets are selling for about $400 a pop there because they have not seen the playoffs in 21 years. So just imagine that these guys had to come all the way to Houston just to watch a playoff game. It's a little bit more affordable because we've been there. We've done that. Tickets are a little bit more reasonable. So Seattle is going to be a packed house. They're going to be rooting their not Astros, but their Mariners. Like we
are they going to say their ALDS is off? That's what I thought you were about to say.
Yeah. So
they will be.
Yeah. So I think that they're going to be definitely rooting the I keep on saying Astros. It's in my blood to root for the Astros. So it's hard to say root for the Mariners, I guess. So they're going to be rooting for the Mariners, and there's a good chance that the Mariners could possibly win this game. But if McCullers has his A game, and if Alvarez keeps on doing what he's doing, the Astros can easily sweep this with what I've seen.
You know what? Seattle, walk Alvarez, please. Let's let Bregman do his thing. Like, seriously, I invite you to walk Yordan Alvarez. Just automatic. Don't even give him 4 pitches. Let Bregman get up there and let Bregman do the whole 4 like should have walked me. I think, Eric, that Jose Altuve, his first hit of the postseason is going to be a home run. I'm not necessarily saying he's going to lead off with the home run, but his first hit he gets in the postseason is going to be over the left field wall in T-Mobile Park, Safeco Field. I don't know what it's called. I always forget this. I'm serious. Is it T-Mobile Park? I believe that's right.
It's T-Mobile Field or Park or something.
Okay. I should call
purple.
I should call it this.
Purple, pink, whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, so I digress. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Again, pregame live podcast, Hooters. Come see us 1:30 Saturday, 20796 Gulf Freeway.
All right, so just kind of wrap it up. Neris did great. Brayu, he's been pitching a lot. He looked great. I know he struggled a little bit with command today. He had the walk. The Astros actually had 7 walks overall, but they still limited the Mariners to only 2 runs. Normally, when you walk that many batters, that means 3 to 4 runs. But the Astros did a great job. Yes, they had a double play. They had some great luck, but that throwing error by Valdez made it 2-1 at that point. But the Astros easily could have won this game 3-1. But this was just a great overall game, and I love the momentum that we have in this series. And I hate the fact that it's off day, but at the same time, it's great for the relievers because you're not using them back-to-back days. The Yankees were rained out today, so now they have to play, I believe, in 4 straight days. So that's going to be disadvantage them if they end up going, or I guess the Guardians too, whoever we face, and the ALCS.
Yes, and to answer Mr. Corona, we will do a podcast whether the Astros sweep or not. Yes, we'll do a pregame, but we will do a postgame as well. I mean, this is Locked On Astros, y'all. This is not your once a week podcast. Like, we're your go-to because we're your team every day. So I appreciate the question, but just know, if just like Yordan Alvarez has got your back, if nobody got you, Locked On Astros got you.
All righty. So we have a Mariners fan here that says, I'm just glad we made it to playoffs, even if we lose 3 in a row. Astros are just a really good team. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of your Mariners fans would not be too happy with that comment, but I know that us getting to the 2005 World Series and getting swept was not great. It was good getting to our first World Series, but yeah. So congratulations, you do have a good team. And what does that say?
Well, it was a Mariners fan that had a sign "Refuse to Lose," and I'll just let you know, I took the picture, but I didn't razz him a single bit. Okay, I didn't give him a hard time. I wasn't one of the guys like yelling in the faces of the Mariners fans. We welcome Mariners fans. We welcome opposing teams' fans. And look, if you guys would have won one of these 2 games, we would have tipped our cap to you because you would have deserved the win. But at the end of the day, both teams got to play. Even if one is overmatched and one is the inferior team can win any day, any team.
Yeah.
The Astros know that, and that's where their experience plays out, I think, in their advantage on Saturday.
I got a picture after the game too, and somebody just bought a New Jersey.
Nice.
It says,
they spelled it YOR. Who's your daddy? Love it.
Yes. So it looks like he just bought it because it still has the tag on and everything. So if this is you, props to you for doing that. And I was like, ooh, that's awesome. I got to go ahead and take a picture of that.
Nice.
So the Astros' job is to go out there and make America mad again, because they're not going to like the fact that the Astros are back to being, they've never not been good. So it's just Whataburgers. Anyway.
No, I'm trying to get my free plug, right?
All right. Anything else we got to talk about before? We're going to look more into game 3 tomorrow, but this was just epic. And I just love the fact that Alvarez is just carrying the whole city, Houston, on his back.
A special Friday night edition of Locked On Astros previewing game 3, then a pregame, and then a postgame. And then we got a show Sunday too. Guys, we're going back to back to back. Like it should be a bobblehead in 2023. Let's go.
Yeah. And the Mariners are playing great. I just think that the Astros are playing a little bit better. So that's all we got for this special edition of the Locked On Astros podcast on a different system, StreamYard. And so we'll see how we like it. And that's all we got. My name is Eric Huysman. He is H-Town Wheelhouse, and we are the Locked On Astros podcast. And we will see you tomorrow, and go Stros.